Hi love, welcome back. In today's class you're making this beautiful flower granny square bucket hat. If you are new to the channel, my name is MyzAyi and you're welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you my love, thank you darling, thank you sweetheart for always coming back. I made this in 2 colors and let's get right into class. I'm going to be using my orange yarn and a leftover yellow, a darning needle, a 4.0 mm hook. I'm going to be doubling my yarn. To begin with, you're going to make a magic circle, and if you can't make a magic circle, just chain 4 and slip stitch in your last chain to form a circle. So this is it. After the magic circle, you're going to chain 3. Chain 3 count as a double crochet. You're going to put 11 double crochet in the same circle. So in total, you should have 12 double crochets, including the chain 3. After your 11 double crochet, you're going to pull to close off the ring and you're going to make a slip stitch on top of the chain 3. This will form a circle. You're going to chain 1, cut and fasten your yarn. Now this is row 1. Row 2, we are going to be attaching our yellow yarn and you are going to be attaching it inside any stitch and you are going to go in the middle of the stitch, not on top. Insert your hook and attach your yellow yarn. You are going to chain 4. Your chain 4 count as your first treble crochet. You're going to make a treble crochet in the same stitch. This is 2 and you're going to repeat 2 trebles in the same stitch, making it 4. Three and your last one. 4. You're going to insert your hook on top of the chain 4 space and you're going to pull your yarn through to close off. Put the 4 treble in 1 and chain 2. You should be having something like that. You're going to make a treble in the next stitch and you're going to go in between the middle stitch, not on top. You're going to make 4 treble crochets. After your 4 trebles, you're going to take your hook out, insert it on top of your first treble and pull through. So this is 2 and you're going to chain 2 and you're going to repeat this until you have 12 treble cluster. So in the middle of each double crochet, you're going to make 4 trebles and you're going to pull through to combine. So I'll walk you through a few and you will do this until the end of the row. At the end, you should have 12 treble cluster. After your 4 trebles, you are going to make a slip stitch on top of your first, where you first pull through that stitch. You're going to make a slip stitch, chain 1, cut and fasten your yarn. So we are done working with the yellow, and we are going to attach our orange yarn again. So this is what your work should be looking like at this point. Attach your orange in the middle of any of the stitches. That's the chain 2 space, and you are going to chain 3. The chain 3 count as your first double crochet. You're going to place 2 more double crochets in the same stitch. Now in the next chain 2 space, you are going to place 3 treble crochets. 1, 2, and 3. You are going to chain 2 and place 3 more treble crochets in the same stitch. So this counts as your first corner. Now in the next chain 2 space, you are going to place 3 double crochets. Make 3 double crochets in the next stitch. In the next stitch, you are going to place your corner, your second corner. Corner is 3 trebles, chain 2 and 3 trebles. Two, 3, chain 2 and 3 trebles. 1, 2, and 3. You're going to repeat this until the end of the row. That is 3 double crochets in the next 2 stitches and a corner. 3 double crochets in the next 2 stitches and a corner. Repeat this until the end of the row. At the end of the row, you are going to slip stitch on top of your chain 3 space, cut and fasten your yarn. And this is how to make our granny square. You're going to repeat this and make 6 of these, and we shall meet and attach them together. So this is all my 6, and we are going to be attaching them all 6 together to form a circle. We will be attaching it from the wrong side, and all my loose ends are on the same direction. So to attach it, you start off from the chain 2 space, and you're going to insert your darning needle and pull through the 2. Go inside the next stitch, front loop of the first panel and back loop of the second panel, and pull through. So this is how we are going to be attaching it. Front loop of our first panel, that is the panel facing us. So we go inside the front loop, and then the back loop of our second panel. So this is how to do that. So that is front and the back. So make sure the second panel, you are going through the back loop, and the front panel, you are going through the front panel or the beginning. So you're going to do this and attach all together until the end of the row. And don't forget to attach the chain 2 space at the end of the row. So go in front loop, back loop, front loop, back loop, and pull through. If you haven't subscribed to the channel up until this point, my love, my darlings, my baby, please do. This will help us and encourage us to keep creating content. At the end of the row, you're going to cut and fasten your yarn. Chain 1, of course, cut and fasten your yarn, and I'm going to make tie and knot to secure. And you should be having something like this. This is the right side of the work, and the wrong side of the work is where the tail ends are hanging. And we shall sew in when we are done with attaching all our squares. So we are going to be using the same strategy to attach all 6 squares, and don't forget to attach from the wrong side of your work for all the 6 squares. And when you are done, you're going to attach the last part together to form a circle. Go ahead, cut and fasten all loose ends and make sure your work is clean and neat, and we shall meet when I'm done with all. Now let's begin with the base of the cup. You're going to make a magic circle and you're going to chain 3. The chain 3 again count as your first double crochet. Place 11 more double crochets in the magic ring. And in total, you should have 12 double crochets, including the chain 3 at the beginning. After your 12 double crochets, you're going to slip stitch on top of your first chain 3 space, and you should have a circle. Now you're going to chain 3. Chain 3 count as your first double crochets, and this row 2 is an increase row. You're going to place a double crochet in the same stitch. Now in the following stitches, you're going to place 2 double crochets in each stitch until the end of the row. And at the end of the row, you should have 24 double crochets. At the end of the row, you are going to slip stitch on top of your chain 3, and this is the end of row 2. Row 3, you are going to chain 3. Chain 3 count as your first double crochet. In the next stitch, you are going to place 2 double crochets in the same stitch. That is your first increase. In the next stitch, you are going to place 1 double crochet. In the next, you are going to place 2 double crochets. So it's 1 double crochet and you increase, 1 double crochet and you increase, and you're going to repeat this until the end of the row. And at the end of row 3, you should have 36 double crochets. At the end, you're going to slip stitch, and row 4, you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, count as your first double crochet. In the next stitch, you're going to place a double crochet. In the next stitch, you are going to increase. Increase is putting 2 double crochet in the same stitch. In the next 2 stitches, you are going to place double crochets in each stitch, and you are going to increase. So row 4 is 2 double crochet and an increase, 2 double crochet all around. At the end, you are going to slip stitch and chain 3. Row 5 would be 3 double crochets, so this is 2. Place your next double crochet in the next stitch, so this is 3 double crochets and an increase. Place 2 double crochet in the same stitch, so it's 3 double crochets and an increase. And at the end of row 5, you should have 60 double crochets. Slip stitch and chain 3. Row 6, you should make 4 double crochets in the next 4 stitches. Chain 3, count as a double crochet. So you have 4, and you increase in the 5th stitch. And you're going to go ahead and make 4 double crochets and an increase all around. And at the end of row 6, you should have 72 double crochets. At the end, you are going to slip stitch on top and chain 3. And now this is your final row, that is row 7. Is 5 double crochets in the next 5 stitches. Your chain 3 count as a double crochet. And you're going to increase in the 6th stitch. And you're going to repeat this until the end of the row. And at the end of row 7, you should have 84 double crochets. At the end, you are going to slip stitch and cut and fasten your yarn. So we are ending on row 7. You should be having something like this after the end of row 7, and you are going to fasten all loose ends. So I'm going to yarn in with my darning needle, and I'll meet you when everything is nice and clean. Now we are going to be attaching the squares to the base. And to do that, we are going to be working back loop for the squares and front loop for the base. So we are going to go in back and front and attach it together. So I'm going to show you 2 ways of attaching it by darning needle and hook. So with the darning needle, you are just going to go back loop and front loop. Back loop for the square, front loop for the base. Back loop for the square, front loop for the base. And you're going to go all around until you are done. And I'll show you how to cut and fasten your yarn. So just watch carefully. Back, you pick the back loop and front loop of the base. When you're using your hook to attach it, is pretty much the same, but you are going to go back loop of the base and front loop of the square. So you're just going to change it and attach your yarn. And when you attach your yarn, you're going to go back loop of the base, insert your yarn at the back loop of the base, like that, and front loop of your square, and you are going to make a slip stitch. So pull through all and go again, back loop of the base, front loop of the square, and make a slip stitch. This is the 2 ways I attach mine. If you have other alternative, please feel free to use it. And if you're using any of the 2, please comment down below. Let us know which one you prefer. At the end of the row, you're going to chain 1, cut and fasten your yarn. And now the excess yarn, you are going to pull through the back. Pull through the back. There you go. So we can sew in from the back, and this is what your work should be looking like. Now let's make the ruffles. You are going to attach your yarn at any corner, and you are going to chain 3. Your first chain 3 counts as your first double crochets. So in row 1 of the ruffles, we are going to place 2 double crochets in each stitch until the end of the row. Also, the corners where we attached our squares, if you want, feel free to place 1 double crochet there. However, if your yarn cannot pass through, just skip it. So place 2 double crochets in each stitch until the end of the row. At the end of the row, you're going to slip stitch. Row 2, you're going to chain 3. This is what your work should be looking like. You're going to chain 3. In the same stitch, you're going to place a double crochet. And now you're going to place 2 double crochets in the next 2 stitches, and you increase in the next. So it's 2 double crochets in the next 2 stitches, increase, 2 double crochets in the next 2 stitches, increase until the end of the row. So I'm going to be following this pattern until I get to row 4. So row 3, I'm going to make 4 double crochets, increase, 4 double crochets, increase. Now row 4, I'm going to make 6 double crochets, increase, 6 double crochets, increase, right? And if you want to go more and more, just add 2, 2, 2 until you get your desired length for the ruffle. So as I said, this is row 3, and the beginning, I'm going to always place a double crochet in the same stitch before. So now I go with 4 double crochets in the following 4 stitches, 3, 4, and I'm going to increase in the next stitch. So follow this pattern until you have your desired length, but I'm going to only make up to 4 rows, and I'll meet you when I'm done with my 4 rows. And this is the complete work. Until we meet again next week, is bye bye.